What's happening, guys? As of right now, it is the 20th of December. Yeah, this month is going by pretty quick. Sooner or later it's going to be Christmas. Merry Christmas, if that means anything to you guys. But I know for a lot of people, it's, you got to protect the meaning of Christmas. I could see that, but if you actually wanted to protect the meaning of Christmas, you shouldn't be just out there buying gifts. You should be spending time with family. You should be just communing together, or actually doing prayers. So this is the thing, like, growing up Mexican, you do notice that the difference in culture right off the bat. It's like this place seems to think it's a Christian country. Sadly mistaken. This place is not a Christian country. This is not a Christian nation. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody in the West has to say. It's like Mexico is more of a Christian nation than the U.S. can ever be, and that's because it's like the religiosity is 10 times more noticeable. It is 10 times more hardcore. It's like you think you're religious out here because you go to church on the weekend. You go to church every Sunday. Over here, man, it's like when it comes to these kinds of things, most people barely go to church. The Christians that do go to church, they go every Sunday, like we're talking about, Saturday, depending, and that's it. They have special masses and that's it. But it's like over in Mexico, you got like straight up just like days of pure prayer, man, like posadas and stuff like that, man. You got women that'll have like actual just like straight up like prayer groups going on for hours. And you don't have that. You don't have that over here. Anytime you do have that over here, it's literally because like someone's bringing that from the old country, So this whole idea, it's like this Christian nation. Oh my God, man. It's like Immortal Technique said, this country never taught me to turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? Christian nation. If you want to go ahead and do it, that's fine, but the audacity to say that this country that prioritizes making money, working, so that nobody has to starve, it's like, what else are you supposed to do? It's like, I don't know, man. A system like that don't work, man. I don't know, man. And it's like, oh yeah, that's why everybody wants to come here. It's like, yeah, sure, but then it's like you go to other parts of the country too. It's like, or other parts of the world, and you don't have to jump through hoops to open up a stand. You don't have to go through that whole stupid process, the bureaucracy, just to like make a business. You can just do it out of your own home. Nobody cares. This whole idea that it's like, it's like that it's so much better out here. It's a scam, man. It really is. It is a scam. We're getting scammed out of our lives, our livelihood, just to work for corporations. When you could be working for yourself, but you can't really do that. It's the cost is too high. It's too risky. And for what? Just to have somebody snitch on you? And I hate having to use the word Karen because it just gets so overdone. But just some like snitch, some jealous snitch that uses the system against you. Uses the whole idea of the health codes and the licensing and this and that, and zoning areas and permits, just like like a Karen, basically. It's like dude. It's like, what's the point? I mean, people do it all the time. I mean, where I'm at right, where I live in the Central Valley, there was like a whole like mini little wave of Latinos. Like for the most part, I think Mexicans, but I'm pretty sure there was some Salvadorians or Guatemalans in there. But man, these guys were just like guerrilla shop owners, man. They would just set up shop, middle of a corner at an intersection, and they would do the tacos al pastor. That was their thing. I'm not going to eat that shit. I'm not, I'm vegan, so. But these fuckers, man, would just set up shop, corner of an intersection, and they would just rake it in, bro. They would just rake it in. And me, myself, if it wasn't for the whole, like, meat, in question, this and that, I would say, fuck, man, that's perfect. That's the perfect thing, who's to say, like, we won't be able to do that vegan, but at the next thing you know, it's like nobody's got an open mind. Everyone starts thinking, oh my God. You can see it on their faces. It's like, fucking dumb bitch. You fucking dumb bitch. I digress. But yeah, no, dude, that's at its essence, that's the best thing. I mean, yeah, they would get shut down. Cops would come up and be like, you got to close up shop, and that's what they would do. But for the most part, in that time that they were doing it, man, they probably made enough money to pay off the fine if they got fined. It's like, and they set up late. They had a market, late night taco enjoyers. These people would start at like 5 or 6 and go to like 11, 12, depending. And in that time, who knows how much they made? Because it wasn't just the tacos al pastor. I'm pretty sure they might have made burritos, but it was mainly tacos al pastor. But they would also have the fresh waters, las aguas frescas. They'd have the tamarindo, Jamaica, all that stuff, man. Horchata. So, I mean, you don't have that. You can't do that. And if you can, it's just, you gotta do that, basically like, what's it called? Incognito. You gotta be, sly about it. But, whatever. But I think, what was I trying to get to? Oh yeah, it's the 20th. As of filming this, coming back up to drop off the van. But yeah, so far so good. It's been an interesting year. A lot of stuff's happened. I think it's been a good year in terms of social progress. I'm still gonna glaze Mr. Luigi, man. Not many people can do what he did. Not many people wanted to do what he did. So I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any of the bootlickers say. It's literally something, most revolutionary act of this century, of the decade mainly. And yeah, man, I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it's just gonna put more money into what's it called? Into their security funds. It's like, nobody said that this was going to be an overnight thing, because that's not how the world works. You don't just get like, I mean, yeah, sure, World War I, but even then, that was a long time coming. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. But nah, dude, maybe, like, I think what the main thing is that this has provided some, like, these are all little cuts into the social fabric. Social fabric. And hopefully something comes good out of it in the coming years. Maybe just even the consciousness, of it. People being aware and awake to the situation, and they mainly awake to the idea that it doesn't have to be a left versus right thing. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are like literally having to squeal about this the most, if you've noticed, they're always going to be the ones that feel like they relate to the guy that got shot, the CEO of United Healthcare. The ones that are going to be talking down on it the most are the ones that feel like they themselves could be put in that position. So it's like, yeah, no, it's like nobody wants to see violence, but it's, in a violent system, it is true. In a violent system, it is self-defense. And it's just, I think, not many people are open to the idea that they are being preyed upon, they're being exploited, they're being robbed, they're being scammed. It's because we live in a world of soft tyranny. You don't have the boots on the ground. I mean, in certain cases you do, but it's more subtle. It's more, it's not the gun in your face. It's more like, well, you don't want that fine, don't you? You don't want to lose your house now, do you? And many people, it's like when they have a lot to lose, they're less likely to complain. I know that too for a fact. Having children, it's no longer about yourself anymore. But at the same time, what better reason to leave a better world, a better situation? It's like people can like go on about this forever about how no, this is not the way, this is the way, and it's pointing to a candidate, a political candidate, that for whatever reason they think that it's going to be. It's like the same thing with Trump. I really don't care. It's to the point I'm just like, if you like Trump, I mean, you fell for it again. Who cares, man? But if that's going to be your boy, sure, go ahead and, worship the dude if you really think that's going to help the country. But don't start blaming everybody else for your failures, man. I guarantee you, once these 4 years are done, they're going to go back to the whole thing like, oh, these were such great years, such great times. And it's just going to be like, I think you're just looking at these years with rose-colored glasses. You're just looking at it with, nostalgia in your eyes. But it's just like things are progressively getting worse. I don't care what anybody tells you. Same thing with Biden. People are going to be like, oh, Bidenflation. But it's just, you guys would have really not been saying anything about Bidenflation had Trump been in office. Bidenflation is gone, apparently. Apparently everybody's eggs are cheaper, everybody's gas is cheaper, when it's like, who cares, man? Maybe you should stop driving so much. Oh, I have to drive for work. Well, maybe you shouldn't have fucking, started living in a city that where the only jobs you can get are like 30 minutes to an hour away. Yeah, it's pretty retarded, man. It's like, oh, the cost of gas. It's like, maybe you're the one that should actually get a hybrid car. You should be the one that gets the electrical vehicles. That's who they're targeting to. It's like this idea that it's some kind of wokest nonsense, this woke libtard kind of philosophy that is behind this. No, it's like these cars that they're trying to put in front of you, they know that you people are just consumers. They know that you are crying about cheap or like wanting cheap gas, and so that's what they're giving to you, man. That's what they're putting in front of you. Just take the fucking bait. I mean, nobody likes the idea of an electric car, but I mean, fuck, man. At some point when things get actually pretty bad, like here in California, it can get to like $6. Has gone before in certain areas, five something. That's been pretty bad. But yeah, once everywhere else starts creeping up to $4 or $5, then you're gonna be forced to get an electric vehicle, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, it runs off the grid. It's like, well, you obviously had no problem before running off the grid and fossil fuels. It's like, who cares at that point? Let the grid deal with all of the coal burning, of all the oil burning. It's funny that these reactionaries, they always come and try to point out the things that the opposition is doing and that they do it, and then just be like, oh, you're doing the same thing. It's just like, so what at this point? Man, it's a pointless tangent. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but yeah, man. New Year's almost here. It's gonna be great. 2025. Quarter of a century coming right up. Nothing's gonna change really that much, but I like noticing stuff. I like thinking that things are gonna change. But I guess that's just a white pill, You gotta have a white pill from time to time. If you take too many black pills, it's just too depressing. Yeah, man. Just ODing on black pills, It's ODing on any pill, for that matter. It's not a good idea. It's not a good strategy. So, yeah, that's just, you vary with the pills. Maybe just stop taking the pills and just exist, right? It's like, I think that just even those terms right there are just pills, I think they're being phased out now. You're not taking pills anymore. You're not swallowing pills anymore. You're not ODing on pills. You're maxing now. You're maxing. Like you can be like simpleton maxing, or I don't know, just the looks maxing, like that kind of thing, But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's good to have a little bit of a white pill here and there, man. You talk to someone that's been black pilled, like truly in every sense of the word, like they're an actual incel and that stuff, and it's just like it is a downer, it's like it's a downer, Same thing with someone that's just completely like blue pilled, like you can't get them to see what what's going on with reality, no matter how many instances and evidence that you can bring to them, they're always going to be like, it's not as bad as you think, it's, oh man, it's like you're too depressing, it's like you're such a pessimist, like that kind of thing too, it's like you'll never get to those people until something affects them personally. You'll never get to them, but every now and then it's good to have a little bit of a white pill, something to hope for. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, 2025 coming up. I'm gonna see if I can probably get those days off. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Those are the only real good days that I feel like are worth taking off. Because Christmas is good, but it's like we've already had Halloween and Thanksgiving, and for me as a family man, it's like I would like to be there with them and everything. But if you're gonna have me make me choose between the two, it's like I'm gonna take New Year's Eve. Something about the whole idea of the sun going around the earth revolving around the sun. There's just something about it, man. There's just something about it. I don't know, because we do live in a heliocentric universe, and we people can't live without the sun. I know a lot of people have like so many like consumer based ideas that they can't live without their they can't live without their AC, they can't live without heat, they can't live without all kinds of things, all these kinds of all these amenities, these creature comforts. You can't live without all this stuff. But in reality, life on this planet wouldn't be the way it was if it wasn't for the sun and our relationship and the distance away from it. That's the way I see it, man. Almost every religion has been based off this, and they've had a sun god at some point. I know most people will say, "Oh, well, technically we're made out of water, so technically if it wasn't for water," it's just sure, yeah. But I mean, who's to say that water that we humans create wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the sun, heating it all up? So, I don't know, man. It's nice to be able to celebrate and do something on that day where everyone, unless you're from the Orient, and I mean that in the most like geographical terms, if you are from the Orient, if you are an Oriental of the Orient, then that's probably not going to be, your New Year's. I know Chinese New Year's. I think most of Asia also celebrates some form of New Year's, because most of them come from China historically, ethnically as well. It's like from mainland China that spread out, Southeast Asia and different parts. So yeah, that's but everybody else usually for the most part follows that logic, that calendar. So it's like It's nice. It's kind of like I don't like getting into that hokey feeling, like, oh, where the whole world is united in one, and it's like it's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb. But I just, it's a celebration. I've done a lot of them, and they're pretty nice celebrations. I've been to Puerto Vallarta. I've been to Vegas. I've been to Long Beach. We've been to Mexico City. All kinds of cities. San Francisco. You name it. We've been to Cancun. Yeah, man, just for the New Year's. And it's great. Los Angeles is good. Universal Studios has a nice little thing, I don't drink anymore, so it's not as fun as you would think if you don't drink. But, yeah, for all the people that drink, it's a good event. And it's just, it's always good to do something. I've even done them at home. I don't really like doing them at home. So the whole idea of not doing something or acknowledging it is just kind of weird, where it's another day. I don't know, man. There's no excitement there. It's like you gotta get excited at least about something every now and then, or else you are an NPC. That's like you gotta resist the urge to just go into NPC mode. There's one thing about going into monk mode, which is a thing on the internet, and I can see the appeal with that. It's like I like to think that I'm technically in monk mode right now. I'm in isolation, trying to work on myself, trying to work in getting money, this and that. So that's technically I'm technically in monk mode. I haven't talked to a lot of people, so it's not as good as it's not as fun as I would think. But but even when you are in monk mode, there's nothing wrong with enjoying something. It's like this whole like aversion to anything. It's like what the fuck are you doing? This is just, you have a lack of meaning. Same thing. I always bring it up with gaming. It's like if you're a gamer, if you identify as a gamer, you lack meaning. You are deriving substance and a false sense of meaning from popular culture. The same thing if you are a film connoisseur. Ironic, because I find myself as a film connoisseur, but not as hardcore as a lot of actual film buffs. Like I enjoy like your artsy movie from time to time, but I had a buddy back in the day. Oh my god, man! I think I might have brought him up a couple times. Fucking hipster scum, and like he was like the worst one, man. I was like, this guy was so pretentious about his movies and his music. It was so damn cringe. It was just like, you can enjoy something else, right? You can enjoy something else that's not a fucking French film, a fucking French black and white film, where everyone's smoking a cigarette, I think it's just so cringe, this whole this aesthetic that people lock themselves into. It's like you can't do anything out of it, It's like, it's like ironic, I'm a metalhead, and it's like, that's kind of what I do too. But I don't know, man. It's like you can enjoy other things, many other things, and that's what I do. It's like I like getting into metal. I listen to metal, But it's like not where I'm gonna obsess and just like shit on everything else and hate on everything else. That's so cringe, man. It's fucking lame. But I don't know, man. I don't know, just maybe get something, find a hobby, find something you do, man. I don't know, every one of us got something. I don't know, that's about it.